Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about end plate design, getting stuck in with some gel coating, structural testing of parts, then going on to do some sanding, cutting, chopping, and of course getting the Dremel out and making a massive mess before trying some bits on the car. Okay guys, so we're looking at the three different stages here of making the vertical strakes on the car. The last part's been hand sanded into a slightly more aerodynamic shape now. We've used a rough gel coat over the top, which can be sanded and polished. Quite a messy process, pretty standard gel coat, nothing special to mention. Obviously leaves quite a nice glossy finish, but looks quite messy and needs finishing. I've also been preparing some parts for testing, which we'll come on to in a bit. And as you can see, a lovely slick surface provided by the gel coat there on top of that wedge of foam. So, here we go. We're going to do some testing. So this is a pure foam with gel coat on the top. First of all, just a bit of impact testing with a finger. You can see that marks up quite easily. Now let's try a knife blade. So give it a good poke. Yeah, looks like it's sticking in. So this stuff isn't particularly durable if it hasn't got any coating. So yes, it's relatively easy to snap, and as you can see, it's quite a clean break, but not particularly strong. A little bit of flaked gel coat there. So now let's move on to a part which has had glass fibre and gel coat applied. Clearly much harder, very resistant to any form of attack, doesn't really seem to be doing any damage, so really pleased with that. Right, clearly impact testing. This stuff is pretty darn hard, and I'm very happy to be making car parts out of it. I think it's the right choice for the application. So yes, we're giving it a really good battering there with a hammer. So having decided to stick with that structural material, now just going to do a quick trial fit on that lower spoiler with one of the vertical strakes. You can see that will also mate nicely onto the dummy spoiler that I've got there. So let's go into end plate design. I've been looking forward to this for some time. So the idea is that we'll be using an expanded polyurethane foam block, marking it up with a template to hold a rebaited upper spoiler and lower spoiler, draw on the lines to get the template onto the foam, and then the Victorinox knife comes out. My trusty friend for cutting this foam. You can see making quite quick work of that in the process. So next up we're getting into sort of cleaning the edges, trimming things down, and then pulling away from the main bulk of the board. You can see there we've got the sticky back aluminium, which is no longer required. The next challenge is to transfer over the cross sections of the aerofoil and the lower spoiler. I did that by poking through with the Sharpie marker just to mark out some dots, and it's basically joining the dots. Next step is to carve along that edge with the Victorinox knife again. So clearly making quick work of that, and then to do an angled slice to start rebaiting. It got me thinking, this is a bit of a manual process, so perhaps there's some things we can do to make it easier, but obviously giving it a sand to smooth the edges, and then a trial fit back onto that dummy spoiler to get a feeling for how it fits. Like a glove. So yeah, quite a good fit between the parts there. Leading me on to thinking about making the process a bit less manual, whipping the Dremel out with a sanding attachment. It's actually making really light work of cutting the foam and being very precise, and you can be quite artistic with the strokes. So obviously bringing that end plate over to the lower spoiler, we're wanting to tilt the part over to match the curvature of the back of the car, make it look as OEM as possible. So here we have a couple of different end plate designs I've been experimenting with. This is more of an RS style traditional straight edge at the back, quite sleek, matching the line of the brakes at the back of the car. This one's a bit more JDM with a stepped double contour. Actually will look quite good on the back of the car, I think. So we'll just hold it up here so you can get a feeling for what that might look like. I'm going to continue experimenting. For now, engineer out.